In this video, we are going to discuss about the muscles of anterior compartment of the thigh. So these are also called the muscles of extensor compartment of the thigh. We will discuss the muscle one by one. First one is the sartorius. So we will discuss the origin, insertion, the nerve supply, and the action of this muscle. First, we are going to discuss about the origin and insertion of the muscle. So this is the iliac crest and this is the anterior superior iliac spine. We have a notch below the anterior superior iliac spine. This is the anterior inferior iliac spine, and below you have the acetabula here. And you have the head of femur here. So this is the femur bone. And there you have the fibula and tibia here. So how the sartorius muscle is originating? We'll discuss the origin and insertion. So the origin of this muscle is from the anterior superior iliac spine and upper half of the notch below the anterior superior iliac spine. This is the origin of this muscle. That is from the anterior superior iliac spine and upper half of notch below the anterior superior iliac spine. And the muscle, it passes like this and gets inserted here. So this is the sartorius muscle. So the insertion is to the upper part of the medial surface of tibia. What you see here is the tibia. It is inserted into the upper part of medial surface of tibia here. This is the sartorius muscle. So what you see here is the origin. Origin is at anterior superior iliac spine and upper part of the ridge below the anterior superior iliac spine. Ridge below anterior superior iliac spine. So what about the insertion? Insertion is at upper part of medial surface of tibia. Upper part of medial surface of shaft of tibia. In front of insertion of gracilis and semitendinosus. So it is arising from the anterior superior iliac spine and a ridge below that and inserted into the tibia. So what is the nerve supply? Nerve supply. We know that the anterior compartment muscles are supplied by the femoral nerve and its branches. So it is also supplied by the femoral nerve. Femoral nerve. What is the action of this muscle? You know that this muscle is also known as Taylor's muscle. So which are the actions of this muscle? This muscle is also known as Taylor's muscle. So action is, it is an abductor and lateral rotator of thigh. Abductor and lateral rotator of thigh. And it causes flexion of the leg at knee. Flexes leg at knee joint. So these actions are involved in assuming the position in which a Taylor works. So it is known as Taylor's muscle. So these movements are executed by a tailor while he works. So this is also known as tailor's muscle. So this is the only muscle of the anterior compartment which flexes the leg at knee joint. All other muscles are extensors of the knee joint. So it causes flexion at the knee joint and causes abduction and lateral rotation. So these are the movements executed by a tailor while he works. So it is also known as tailor's muscle. So that's all about the sartorius muscle. Next muscle which I am going to discuss about is the rectus femoris muscle. So next muscle is the rectus femoris muscle. Now you again discuss the origin and insertion first. This is the iliac crest, and we have the anterior superior iliac spine and a crest ridge below it, and we have the anterior inferior iliac spine, and this is the acetabulum. So we have the trochanter, head of femur, lesser trochanter. This is the femur. I have the fibula here. This is the tibia. We have the patella here. This is the patella. So what we are going to discuss about is the rectus femoris muscle. The origin of the muscle is from the anterior inferior iliac spine. That is the anterior inferior iliac spine, and also it consists of two heads. That is, a straight head is originating from upper half of anterior inferior iliac spine, and it consists of a reflected head which is arising from a groove above the margin of acetabulum. This is the acetabulum. Groove above the margin of acetabulum. That is the origin of reflected head of rectus femoris. Reflected head originates from groove above the margin of acetabulum and capsule of hip joint. Now the muscle gets inserted into originating from the anterior inferior iliac spine and groove above the margin of acetabulum. So this is a fusiform muscle. The fusiform muscle gets inserted into the base of patella. So this is a fusiform muscle and also bipinnate muscle. It is bipinnate also and is fusiform also. So that's how it gets inserted into base of patella. So simply we can say that it is originating from the anterior inferior iliac spine and a groove above the acetabulum and gets inserted into the base of patella. You can see it is fusiform in shape and it is bipinnate also. So what is the nerve supply and action of this muscle? Supply. It is also supplied by the femoral nerve. And this branch is also supplying the hip joint. Now the action. We have said that all other muscles except the sartorius are extensor at the knee joint. Extension of knee joint and flexion of hip joint. So that's all about the rectus femoris muscle. Now we are going to discuss about the vastus muscle. Vastus muscle. At first we are going to discuss about the vastus lateralis. This is a bulky muscle It is seen on the now you'll discuss the origin and insertion of the muscle. For that I will draw the femur. This is head, this is greater trochanter, this is lesser trochanter. This is a medial supracondylar line, this is a lateral supracondylar line. This is the intertrochanteric line between the two trochanters. This is a greater trochanter, this is a lesser trochanter. And you have a gluteal tuberosity here. Here is the gluteal tuberosity. And this is the linea aspera. It has got a medial lip and a lateral lip. So the muscle arises from this landmarks here. This bony marks here, sorry. So the origin of this muscle is linear. So which are the origin? It arises on the upper part of the intertrochanteric line. So upper part of intertrochanteric line. Trochanteric line. And you can see the anterior and inferior border of the greater trochanter. Anterior and inferior border of greater trochanter. Now it is also arising from the gluteal tuberosity. You can see the gluteal tuberosity here. So gluteal tuberosity, actually yeah, it arises in the lateral lip of gluteal tuberosity. And we can see the lateral lip of the linea aspera here. So upper part of lateral lip of linea aspera. Lateral lip of linea aspera. So these are all the region of origin of this muscle. This is intertrochanteric line, greater trochanter, anterior and inferior border of greater trochanter, gluteal tuberosity, lateral lip of linea aspera. So it arises like this, and it gets inserted where you have the patella here. So it gets inserted into the medial part of, this is the base of patella, medial part of the base of patella, and also the lateral border, this is the lateral border of the patella, get inserted into the medial part of base of patella. So this is the insertion at this is the base of patella, that is lateral part, lateral part of base of patella. And here is a lateral border of patella, upper 1/3 of lateral border of patella. So that's all about the origin and insertion. Now the nerve supply is femoral nerve itself. Nerve supply is femoral nerve. Now the action is, it also extends the knee joint, extension of knee. Now we'll discuss the vastus medialis muscle. For that we are drawing the femur again. This is the greater trochanter. This is the head of femur, and this is the lesser trochanter. We have the supracondylar ridge. So what you see here is the intertrochanteric line, and we have the spiral line here of the femur, and this is the medial lip of linea aspera. Now we have the patella here. So this muscle is arising from the lower part of intertrochanteric line. So lower part of intertrochanteric line. And it is arising from the spiral line also. Spiral line. And from this is the medial lip of linea aspera. Linea aspera. So it is also having a linear origin, and it is on the medial side. So it gets inserted into the medial part of base of patella and the medial border of patella. So originating from this part like this, and it is also originating from the medial supracondylar line. That is the upper half of upper 1/4 of medial supracondylar. This is the medial supracondylar line. It also forms the origin, that is medial supracondylar line. Condylar line. So originating from these parts, having a linear origin like this, it gets inserted into medial part of base of patella and the medial border of patella like this. So insertion at medial 1/3 of base of patella and upper 2/3 of, this is the medial border, 2/3 of medial border of patella. This is the vastus medialis muscle. Now the nerve supply is the same, that is femoral nerve. Nerve supply is the femoral nerve. Now the action is extension at knee, and it also, this is present medially, so it prevents lateral rotation of the patella, and it rotates the femur medially during locking stage of extension of knee joint. So it rotates the femur medially during locking stage of extension of knee joint. That's also another action. Now we'll discuss the vastus intermedius muscle here. So the vastus intermediate, it is originating from the upper 3/4 of the anterior lateral surface of shaft of femur. So this has its origin from the shaft of femur, that is from the anterior and lateral surface of shaft of femur, upper 3/4. So it is originating from the shaft of femur like this, and it gets inserted into the base of patella. This is the vastus intermedius muscle. Origin from the upper 3/4 of anterior and lateral surface of shaft of femur and inserted into the base of patella. Insertion is base of patella. So what is the action? The nerve supply. This is a femoral nerve. The action is extension of knee joint. Extension of knee joint. Now we have discussed about the muscles, three vastae muscle, that is vastus medialis, vastus intermedius, vastus lateralis and the rectus femoris. These four muscles are together known as the quadriceps femoris muscle. So the quadriceps femoris muscles and sartorius forms the muscles of anterior compartment, and there is another small muscle that is called the articularis genum, which is also supplied by the femoral nerve. What is the function? It pulls the synovial membrane upwards during extension of the knee, thus preventing damage to it. Remember this muscle also. Now, so which are the muscles which form the anterior compartment? So which are the muscles? That is this muscle is the sartorius muscle. So this muscle which is present laterally is the which is inserted into the lateral part of base of patella and lateral border of patella is the vastus lateralis. This is vastus lateralis. And another muscle, we know that the vastus intermedius muscle is present behind the rectus femoris muscle. So what you see from anterior aspect is the rectus femoris. Underneath the rectus femoris we can see the vastus intermedius. So one muscle which gets attached into the base of patella, originating from the anterior inferior iliac spine, that is the rectus femoris muscle. So that is a bipinnate muscle. It is fusiform in shape also. So this is the muscle. It is bipinnate muscle. So which is this muscle? Rectus femoris muscle. And what you see on the medial aspect here is the vastus medialis. This is vastus medialis. So which are the muscles you see here? This one is the sartorius. This is the sartorius. Gets inserted into the tibia, medial surface of the tibia. Now this is the vastus medialis, which is present medially. Now this is the bipinnate and fusiform muscle, that is rectus femoris. This is inserted into the base of patella, and underneath this rectus femoris we can see the vastus intermedius. And this is written laterally, that is the vastus lateralis. So these are the muscles of extensor compartment of the thigh or the anterior compartment of the thigh. All these are supplied by the femoral nerve, and the sartorius causes abduction, lateral rotation of the hip and the flexion of knee. All others will cause extension of the knee joint. That's all about the muscles of anterior compartment of thigh. Thank you for watching this video. To see more videos on our channel, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.